Welcome to this rapid revision video looking at exam skills. This will be focused upon the Pearson Edexcel Paper 1. The topic we'll be looking at will be the medicine topic, specifically the British sector of the Western Front 1914 to 1918. This is question 1, the described question worth 4 marks. Although we'll be focusing on a medicine topic here, the skills involved will be very similar regardless of what topic you're looking at. Firstly, an introduction to the Edexcel Paper 1. This will have two main components. It'll have the historic environment source inquiry. The one we're going to be focusing on today is the British sector of the Western Front 1914 to 18, injuries, treatment and the trenches. The second part will be the thematic study. In this case, medicine through time, or medicine in Britain circa 1250 to the present. For this exam you'll have a total time of 1 hour and 15 minutes, and that's for both sections, so make sure that you spend your time wisely. Let's have a look at the first question in this paper. Describe two features of ill health among soldiers that arose from the trench environment. This is what you'll need to focus on here. It's a pretty straightforward question, you shouldn't have to spend too long on it. But this is what it'll actually be testing you on. The first question is assessing AO1 or Assessment Objective 1, knowledge of key features and characteristics of the period. Here's a sample of the mark scheme. Describe two features of ill health among soldiers that arose from the trench environment, with the target knowledge of key features and characteristics. 4 marks. You'll notice that you get 1 mark for each valid feature identified, up to a maximum of 2 features. The second mark should be awarded for supporting information. This might be a little bit of explanation or just a bit more detail. So all you'll need to do is include 2 valid features and support each feature with additional detail or explanation. So you should spend about 6 minutes on this question at most, but many of you will find that you do this a lot quicker than that. And that will leave you a little bit of extra time for those longer questions you'll have to do later on. So let's have a look. The question will be laid out like this, and yes, you will get those headings that say feature 1 and feature 2. Let's have a look at an example answer. What I've done here is I've colour coded it with the features in purple and the supporting detail in red. One feature of ill health among soldiers was trench foot. This was caused by standing in muddy, flooded trenches where they couldn't keep their feet dry. Another feature was trench fever. This was caused by soldiers being infested with lice from the unhygienic conditions where they could not keep their clothes clean. So let's have a look at the mark scheme. Yes, I appear to have written this in the right sort of format and in the appropriate detail. So there's a mark for the first feature and a mark for the supporting detail. And the same for the second feature too. 4 out of 4. Pretty easy to get right as long as your knowledge is pretty reasonable. Let's have a look at how you might not want to do it. Let's see if you can identify what I've done wrong here. One feature of ill health was that rats infested the trenches. This was caused by the scale of casualties in the First World War, which often resulted in unburied bodies being left in no man's land, adding to the unhygienic and unpleasant nature of the environment. Despite occasional truces to bury the dead, many corpses were left to be consumed by the rats, which were attracted to the area and became very fat. Another feature was the risk of infection from the unsanitary conditions. Many soldiers were wounded by shrapnel, as trenches provided insufficient protection from artillery. Let's have a look at the mark scheme again. Can you identify the mistakes here? Well, the first feature would get me a mark. No problem with that at all. However, the second feature, although it would get me a mark, has probably wasted quite a bit of time. There's a lot of very unnecessary detail in there. I've put the tick roughly where it would need to be for you to get the mark anyway, and all the rest you could do without. Save yourself the time. The second feature, I'd probably get a mark for that, but not for the second bit, which isn't relevant to the health conditions and problems that soldiers faced in the trenches. So make sure that you're being relevant. Although this answer would get 3 out of 4, I've probably wasted more than 6 minutes writing it, so do be careful. If you fancy trying some of these for yourself, you could try these other topics too. Warfare, London in the Second World War. Describe 2 features of evacuation. Describe 2 features of air raid shelters. Describe 2 features of why Germany targeted London. Or if you're doing the crime and punishment through time topic, describe 2 features of 19th century prisons. Describe 2 features of trial by combat or battle in medieval England. Describe 2 features of early policing in the 19th century. Here's some final points. 4 mark describe 2 features questions should be really easy marks. You simply need to identify 2 valid examples and support them with additional detail and explanation, and they really should take no longer than 6 minutes. They may take less time than that, leaving more time for the longer questions like the 16 marker you'll have to do later on. And that's the end of this rapid revision video. I hope it's been useful to you, and if it has, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks very much for watching, goodbye and good luck with your exams.